Okay, we're about to make some bacon and beef hash. Everything was bought at Save-A-Lot. This one takes just a couple more steps, but it's pretty fast. It's really good. So first thing we're going to do is take our bacon. And I like to use around 9 strips of bacon. So we'll get this out. One, two, three. Here's four strips. Looks like we had about 9 in that package. There's a couple more in it. I'm not going to sweat it. You can use a little bit more or a little bit less if you like. So we'll cook that up. And while we are cooking that, we're going to chop our veggies. We're going to use 1 onion. Chowder style. But we're not going to add our veggies in there quite yet. Once that's done, we're going to drain that, keep the bacon, and then we'll cook our veggies in just a little bit of the bacon grease. So 1 onion, and then we're going to take some green onions, but just the tops. We're just looking for these green tops. I don't cut them anything fancy. And then I'll take what's left of this white stuff, the little onion bulbs, and that's it. I'm going to get rid of these. So we're going to let that cook up. So once you've cooked your bacon up, you're just going to want to make sure that it's really nice and crispy. And the reason for that is we're going to crumble it later. So what I like to do once it's nice and cooked up is I'll take my bowl and I line it with paper towels. This is going to help with the grease. I'll take a spoon that has some holes in it. I'll just kind of shake the grease off. Put it right in there. And once it cools a little bit, it crumbles really easily and really fast. Turn that off for a second. And then all I'm going to do is pour the grease out, but that's it, because I want to cook the veggies with just a little bit of what's left in the grease that doesn't dump out. So I'll dump as much as I can. And then this is about what's left over, just the residue. Now I'll take those veggies that I just cut up, I'll dump those in there. I'm not going to cook them all that long, because we're going to cook them with our beef as well. So we'll let those cook up for a couple of minutes. So once I've cooked the veggies about halfway, something like that, and the remaining bacon grease residue, I'm going to take my beef, and I have the lean ground beef, kind of just hamburger, but you want to go as lean as you can go on this. As lean as I could find at the store today was 93% lean. And I just try to get the closest thing to a pound that I can. I think this is 1.04. So I'll take my beef and I'll just put it right in there. And then what I do is I like to put a little bit of salt and pepper on it. I like to use the pink Himalayan. A little bit of pepper. And then I like to have, in this dish, a little bit of rosemary as well. It brings out the flavor a little bit later when you taste the hash. So I don't measure anything. I just kind of open the big side and just sprinkle it a little bit. And we're going to want to cook this up just like kind of like taco meat consistency. So we'll cook all that up. So once you have your beef cooked up to kind of taco consistency, you don't really need to drain this because there's not too much grease in it. That's why we use such lean beef. But if you want to kind of take it out, instead of straining it, what I do is just kind of tip it. Just kind of let the grease roll down. Let's get that piece out of there. And then what I do is just take a little bit of a paper towel, just in case you want the rest of that grease out of there. Or you can put it through a strainer, but I don't really have time for that. It's not bad putting it through a strainer. The worst part about that is having to clean the strainer. Those things are awful. Okay, so we're cooked up, taco consistency here. All right, let's go back to our bacon. So what I do when I first put the bacon in there is I put it in the paper towel, of course, then I just kind of dab it a little bit. And then after I'm done dabbing it, I just kind of let it air dry like that while I'm cooking everything else. When it has grease all over it, it doesn't crumble well. But since it's in here, to crumble it now, all I do, take it and just press down. That's it. And it all crumbles. That's it. You just take this, I'm going to dump it right in here. See how crumbly that all is? That's where it's at. And then we're going to take our eggs. We're going to take 8 eggs. There's 7 in here. A little bit of shell there, no big deal. This is the 8th. And then I just take a fork and I whisk them up a little bit. Just kind of scramble them up a little bit. You can dump them right in there whole if you'd like. You just have to mix this all together to dump them in whole. I don't really prefer it that way. I like mine scrambled up. And once I scramble them all up, I'm just going to pour it all in there. That's 8 eggs. Turn it up just a hair. Now we're going to mix this all together as well. And we're just going to cook this. And what I do is I just keep stirring it up. Our pan is pretty well greased up. It's not too much to stick. And if it does, who cares? If you're using non-stick, nothing should stick, but I prefer to cook in stainless steel myself. So we'll let that cook up. We're about a quarter of the way there, and I just keep on stirring this. Those eggs make a pretty thick foundation there, so to make sure it all cooks nicely, I just keep stirring. Nothing fancy. You can add as much or as little of any of this stuff as you want. You won't fuck anything up. Unless you add like way too much salt or something, you won't mess it up. Alright, so we're pretty cooked up here. Just keep stirring it up. Making sure all those eggs get cooked nicely. So now, we're going to finish it off. I like a little bit of sour cream in mine. This isn't a necessity, but that's about how I like it right there. And then I'll stir that around as well. Skip this part if you don't like sour cream. And then if you are, we're going to put the cheese on it next. But if you're just eating it yourself, don't worry about making it look nice. But if you're serving it up and you want it to look nice, kind of smooth it all out first before we put the cheese on. I'm not going to make it perfect, but you get the idea. And then we're going to put the cheese on. Cheddar. I like sharp. Put whatever you like. Mild. Should probably put around a cup. I don't really measure anything out. I just kind of give it one of these deals. And that's it. We're just going to keep the heat up a little bit until this cheese melts. And that's it. And that is bacon beef hash. Now you gotta watch when you cook this for your girl. This one is hit or miss with the ladies. Some girls really like this for breakfast. Some girls don't like it at all. I would not break up with your girl if she doesn't appreciate this dish. But it's really good and it's really cheap. I love it. I could eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And once that melts, it's done.